And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Connected for Real podcast. I am Rebbetzin Bat-Chen Grossman, and today with me, I have Lesley. So, let me first tell you who I am in case you don't know. I'm a marriage coach for women in business. So, that intersection between marriage and business and how they affect each other is my favorite topic. It is where I thrive and shine and get all excited. And today, Lesley is going to talk all about her shift between, working on her business and how it is, how it was to be a businesswoman and married and all that. But then also now she's shifting into working with her husband. So, Lesley, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, why you're so awesome, and what you're up to.
Well, you're sweet. Thank you. My name is Lesley Mcshane. I'm the host of the Redesigning Midlife podcast. My whole career, actually, I've been in film production. I've been a freelancer in the film industry, but specifically, I've done a lot of work with museums and museum installations. So I do a lot of research for the films that are put together that are inside museums. So it's been very interesting. But as I entered into my 50s, as I kind of got towards midlife, I felt like I was telling everybody else's stories all the time. And so I wanted to create something and use the creativity that I felt like I had to kind of do my own thing, to make a pivot. And I found that when I started talking to other women, that other women were really looking to make a pivot as well. So, it's kind of a thing when you get to midlife. You're kind of like, I've done all these things. I have all this experience. Perhaps your kids are older or leaving the house, and you've been everything to everybody else, but you have forgotten who you are along the way. And then all of a sudden you are faced with, okay, this is who I am and this is what I want to do. So I had to go through this big, okay, who am I and how can I use everything that I have built through my life to be more who I am from now forward, because a lot of people think, when you hit midlife, you're at the end, but you're only at the midsection. You still have so many more years and so many more things to share and offer other people. So I have been an athlete most of my life, and I have been a creative. So I was kind of like, how can I combine those two things to give back to other women? Because I really was feeling that midlife women needed a voice, and they needed to be told that it was okay to put themselves first at this time in their life. And so I started a blog, I started a podcast, and I really wanted to focus in on health and wellness, and kind of niche down into helping women prioritize their health and wellness now so they can be happier now and live more independently as they age. Because a lot of times we don't realize that everything that we do now, it's an investment in ourselves, and you build on that. And in 10 years, you're going to be in much better health than if you hadn't started doing something at this age. So I've been doing this for about 3 years. And, at the same time, my husband was kind of going through his midlife. I won't call it a crisis, but for men, we kind of call it a midlife crisis. For us, it's a midlife awakening. But he also decided to make a pivot in his career. He had been in finance and healthcare for many, many, many years. And his mother got very ill and ended up passing away from cancer. And she left him a little bit of money, and he had the opportunity to become an entrepreneur and to buy into a plumbing franchise. And at nearly 60, he's 58, at nearly 60, he decided to completely change his focus, and he has started this plumbing business. And so I have like I said, he's a finance guy, I'm more of a creative, so I've been trying to help him on the marketing front. So we're kind of working together a little bit right now.
Woo! That's
A lot. It's a lot.
and I love how you're like, for us, it's an awakening. You guys, it's like so normal, right?
Right. Nobody wants to be in a crisis.
Yeah. And you know what else you said? Like at this age and at this stage at midlife, it's okay to put yourself first. And I'm like, guys, at every stage, it's okay to put yourself first.
This is true, but there's so much guilt associated with putting yourself first. So a lot of women are not able to do that.
I know. I know.
Fortunately, I have always been one that has been able to do that. But if you haven't been able to do that, at some point you're going to have to take the power back.
Right. So I feel like it's a muscle and it's hard at every age. You could be newly married, maybe first baby, and be like, no, I have to take care of everybody else but me, and, totally forget yourself. And, at a certain point, you're going to have to, wake up and be like, no, 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 I need
They
to
will catch up with
carve.
you. It will catch up with you.
It will, right? So at any stage from any time until any time, you're going to have to do it. So don't wait until you're 50. Just do it now and grow that muscle to be able to like carve out the time and put yourself first and take care of yourself. And the truth is because everyone else wins when you take care of yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
you're going to be around longer to take care of everybody else and everything they need.
Exactly. Yeah. And you'll be a better, more patient human with those people, right? So it's like I take a nap and then I'm a nicer mom and, super different than if I don't take a nap. And so I prioritize taking a nap. And it's very interesting because my friends would be like, oh, that's crazy. Like, who does that? Who takes a nap in the middle of the day? I'm like, me, because I woke up really early. And I've been taking care of everyone else. And if I don't pause for like an hour, just like cut the day in half, I will not be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. You have to say yes to yourself first before you can start saying yes to everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not selfish. It's for them. It's like for everyone benefits.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a tangent. I had to pick on you.
That's fine. You go.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about how business and marriage are, playing a dance here. Because first you had your own business and your own midlife awakening. And how did your husband deal with that? And also, how did it affect the dance in different ways? That's the first question I have for you. And then now that you're shifting into working together, how is that dynamic working for you? And what are the challenges? What are the tips that you can give people? Things like that.
Yeah. Well, as far as me having my own business and his support and whatever, all of that starts way early. We've been married for 27 years and we have always been, we're man and wife, but I consider ourselves friends first. We are partners in this marriage, and we are man and wife. So, there is nobody that I trust more. There is nobody that I think will back me up faster than he does. And I respect him, he respects me. And so when I told him that I needed to do something a little bit different, that I needed this thing, he was like, go do it. We of course we had to make some sort of, arrangements, and there are some serious financial talks that have to go on and that sort of thing. But he knows me so well that he knew that I needed this thing. And so he was like, go for it. And he's been very supportive and my biggest cheerleader, and my biggest supporter when things, because things don't always go great. Things go well sometimes, then they don't go well. So he's been there to pick up the pieces when they didn't go well and to cheer me on when they did go well. And, and I have appreciated him all along. And so when he started this business, I wanted to give back to him too. And I let him go into it and be in it for 6 months and find his place and what he was doing. And then I offered to come in and help him out. And he knows what I'm capable of. And he knows the support that I can give him. And so he's like, okay, yeah, get in here. I need you. Please come. So now we're working together, but we don't work together. I'm doing marketing type stuff and he's doing more accounts receivable and dealing with the plumbers. So we're not like sitting at desks side by side. It's kind of like I'm doing my thing and he's doing his thing, but we're both working toward the same thing.
Oh, I love that. My mother, when I was dating, she told me something so wise. She says, it's not about looking at each other's eyes. It's about both looking at the same destination. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you know it's going to work, right? She's like, if you just sit there and like, oh, lovey-dovey, it's not about anything. But then if you're both working towards the same goal, so like the way you said that felt really aligned. It was like, yes, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like meetings or anything official that you're like, okay, now we're going to sit down and talk about this like seriously? Or are you just like, here and there, hey, I need to know whatever about this, that, the other. How do you guys do it?
Well, we have always done a lot of things together. We have run a junior cycling team together. We started and ran a junior cycling team together. We are both cyclists, and so we ride our bikes together a lot. We've done a lot of traveling together, so we've always done a lot of things together. So our relationship has always been pretty organic. We've never had like set times where we have to talk about this. We just talk about stuff whenever we talk about it. We might be out on a bike ride and, he wants to talk about such and such and we do, or, sit down when we get home from the office and we talk then. So no, we've never had set times. We are both very vocal. So we don't hold in things inside, we don't carry them and then there's some big explosion or anything. It's kind of like if there's an issue, yeah, we're going to talk it out and we're going to talk it out probably today because tomorrow's going to be something else. And if you keep piling on issues that need to be worked through, then it's going to end up this great big pimple of terrible topics to talk about. Let's just talk about this stuff. Let's get it out.
Yeah, it's like you get to the meeting, you're like, okay, here's the to-do list.
Yeah.
First you said this to me, then I did that to you. Like, forget it. We're never
Yeah.
going to end this thing.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. So just like, bring it up when it comes up and don't bottle it in. Great advice.
Yeah. And that was not always very natural for him. And it's not natural for a lot of men to talk about their feelings and the things that they're thinking about and issues that they're having. So he has always been very open to follow my lead on that. And I am very conscious not to point fingers either. This is an issue that we have, not an issue that he has or an issue that I have. It's an issue that we have. And so let's talk through it.
Right. I love that. I love it. How are you balancing or, sort of doing both of the business that you built and now supporting him? Like what is still going on with your support?
Yeah. Well, as all businesses happen that, there are ebbs and flows. Mine was full on through the summer. And then I needed to take a step back from that. And now it's full on with him, and so we'll see. It's still pretty new. So we'll see how they coexist together. But like I said, we are a team. And so we will do everything in our power to make sure that each one of us is successful and has the things that we need. So,
Yeah, I love that. That's really nice. Tell me about your freebie that you have for women in midlife.
yeah, well, the thing about being in midlife and working on your health and wellness is that, like I said, so many women have not been putting their health and wellness first for a very long time. And they are afraid to get started because they think that it's going to be hard and that, they're not going to be able to do it. And they're not going to be able to develop any kind of consistency. Um, so, um, what I want to tell women is that, um, it only takes 5 minutes a day. It only takes 5 minutes a day to be able to put yourself first, to get into the habit of being able to put yourself first. And so I have a freebie called 4 Steps to Prioritize Your Health and Wellness this week. And actually doing it, I have a whole habit bank of things that you can do to choose to begin easily to take care of yourself on a daily basis. And once you develop that habit of being able to take care of yourself for 5 minutes a day, then you might be able to continue and to add to that and do a little bit more and a little bit more until it becomes this thing that you do every single day. Where'd you go back in? Where are you? I go back.
I'm back.
There you are. I was like, where did she go?
Like, oh my God, it happened. Oh. Oh, that's good that it's still going on. I'm like, do I come back and she's gone? No, she's still here. Great.
I'm here, and I finished telling everybody about the thing I have available. 4 steps to prioritizing your health and wellness this week. I got all that out.
And I didn't get to hear it.
You've heard it before. You know about the what I have available and how you just take 5 minutes. Just take 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes and do something for yourself and then build that consistency muscle and then build on that. Go to 10 minutes, go to 15 and next thing you know, you're on the road to better health and better wellness.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the all or nothing mentality is going to kill it. It's like that's the thing that does it for most people is like, forget it. We're not doing this. Let's
Yeah.
just move on.
Yeah. And it's easy things like drinking a glass of water before you have coffee in the morning or taking 5 minutes to write down 5 things you're grateful for. These are all little things that help your health and your wellness. Do some mobility um, moves first thing in the morning. Wrist rolls. Nobody thinks about doing wrist rolls or neck rolls. Those things are going to help you all day long.
I'm going to start doing wrist rolls now just because you said it.
Wrist rolls. You don't realize how like stiff your wrists get when you're sitting at a computer all day long. You
I
know,
know.
you get
So,
those joints moving, get that fluid moving in your joints.
okay, good. So did you tell everyone how to get their freebie?
I did not do that. You have to go to my website, and that's lesleymcshane.com. That's LesleyLmcshane.com.
Awesome.
It's right there.
It's very, very exciting. And you know what? I think it reminds me of my freebie a little bit because mine is the guide to unravel overwhelm.
Yeah.
And it's along the same lines, but
Yeah.
instead of having a bunch of different things to do, just like 5 minutes of, it's pick one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing, the one thing that's going to move the needle and just start the ball rolling. It's something that I've done probably for the last 6 years. The first time I did it was 6 years ago. We're
Mm-hmm.
actually succeeded, and this is how I came up with this system, 4 steps. But ever since then, I'm living a different life,
Yeah.
right? Because like for me, it was prayer. I just picked one thing. I said I'm going to pray for 10 minutes a day. Just
Yeah.
like, it shouldn't be that hard. 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and just carve it out. And I wasn't perfect. It wasn't like every day was, oh yes, I got it. But
We're not
I
being
was
graded on these things. You're not being graded. It's not a test.
right. But the secret here was I was tracking. And so I was able to see, and I just kept telling myself, any day where I actually did it is a day I would not have done it any other, like I wouldn't have done it without deciding to do it. So 50%, oh my gosh, 50% of my days, or look, I did 3 days in a row. That's pretty good. And so
Yeah.
slowly, like you start talking yourself into doing it. And now I can't even imagine going a day without praying because it's
Yeah.
just part of my life. And
Yeah.
not only that, like I'm doing other things now, like just building on it. Like you said, as soon as you build the
Habit.
muscle,
Huh?
yeah, habit stacking.
Yeah.
As soon as you built the muscle, that muscle is just like super ready to do whatever we need.
Mm-hmm. I do the same thing. I started with one thing and then started building on it. And now I just call the whole thing my morning routine or my spiritual gym almost. It's
Mm,
sitting down and gratitude and setting intentions and prayer and then moving your body. I call it going to the spiritual gym in the morning.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. One day I will have time for a morning routine, but until then,
Start with one thing. Start with one thing.
I have one 10-minute goal, and it's still, like, how do I fit this in? My kids wake up so early, and thank God there's many of them. So it's just like whack-a-mole until they go to school. It's like try to make sure everything is still not broken until they're out. So I'm still in the stage of, I do not have time that is
And
my
you're going to
own.
be there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay.
Okay, exactly. Enjoy your 10 minutes and your nap.
Exactly. I I also, I think that putting it in perspective, like a lot of people tell me like, "Oh, it goes so fast." And you're like, "What fast?" I've been here for 17 years. Like my oldest is 17, right? Um but it does go fast because you see suddenly you're like, oh my God, there's an adult around, she's 17.
Yeah.
So it goes really fast. And when somebody reminds me that, I'm like, yeah, one day I'm going to be in a different stage going, oh, look at that. There's quiet in the house and I have time for myself.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a different stage. So just enjoying the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And what goes even faster is when after they're 17 and they're gone and they're not around. And then all of a sudden you look up and they're 27 and you're like, didn't you just graduate from high school yesterday? Yeah, it happens fast.
Didn't we just graduate from high school yesterday?
Yep. Yep. Yesterday, otherwise known as 35 years ago for me. It
when
does
they
feel like
announced,
yesterday.
when they announced our 20-year reunion, it was a couple of years ago. I was like, What are
What?
you talking about?
I'm still a kid. Didn't I graduate like 2 years ago?
It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's very strange. The way time flies, and yet it just, feels like it's not moving sometimes.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, this was really fun. If anybody has any questions, please send them in the chat, or you can email us. Both Lesley and I are really, really fun to talk to, so get in touch. I also want to make sure that you know about the 3-month private coaching that I have right now, one-on-one, an amazing experience. Just, I haven't done one-on-ones in a very long time. So this is very exciting because there's only 2 spots left. I opened up 6 spots and the first 4 are taken. So there's only 2 spots left. It is an experience that you can take to what your goals are. So you know that my specialty is marriage and business and how they interact. And really, it's all built on the 4 pillars. God is at the core, marriage and business, and how they work together. And then you as your whole self, which is a lot about what we're talking here today, right? Like that ability to be your whole self so that you can contain all of these other parts of your life. And so you can choose what you want to focus on during these 3 months. And we, in the consultation call, we go deep dive into what is the goal and what the destination is, and then sort of like create a roadmap for that. So some of my clients are focusing on their marriage and, really making sure that the intimacy is working, that the communication is working, that they have the right skills. And some of them are working on finding their purpose and figuring out their thing. And what am I meant to grow into? So what am I being called to become? One of my clients said, which is so beautiful, because it's exactly that, right? Like we have this calling. And then the business aspect. So how to juggle everything. You can get in touch with me at advice@connectedforreal.com, and I will give you all the details, and you can have a free consultation. We could work it through. So that's the excitement of today. And I look forward to having more opportunities to speak to awesome people like you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
Lesley.
Thank you for having me. This is meant a lot to me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. And I love that you have, so much experience that you were able to bring into the next levels, right? Like it's never about, oh, that was the old me, this is the new me, and they have nothing to do with each other. It's always just, like you said, stacking, right? Building on each other. And I love how you're taking your skills along with you and just becoming the next version of yourself. So that's really fun.
Yeah, you have to do that. We all go through everything that we go through for a reason. So you have to take it with you and use it.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.